This is Pukeology Podcast, where science meets your hilarious puke stories and the tips and tricks to stop that up-chuckle that you need.
You never know what's going to spew out of her mouth. Here's
my mama,
Dr. Puke Nomo.
You're probably in your second trimester and just felt your baby move. It almost feels like a little gas bubble or a little kick or flutter inside of your tummy. The kicks will become stronger, ladies, and the movement is good and is a wonderful thing during your pregnancy. So how do we get the baby to move when we want it to? And how do we get them not to move when we don't want them to, such as whenever we're sleeping? So get ready to hear the 5 best ways to get your baby to move in the womb today on Episode 72, How to Get Your Baby to Move in Utero. Do you want no more morning sickness, pregnancy nausea, or how about no more headaches or migraines? Visit our sponsor, nomonausea.com, the only natural way to instantly stop your worst nausea, vomiting, or headaches now, and get 25% off with the code PUKE25. That's PUKE25. Or just place No More Nausea Ban on your baby registry for your delivery room bag at Bye Bye Baby, or get it shipped for free in just 2 days as an Amazon Prime vendor. You can also find stuff for your little ones too, like No More Nausea Kids and No More Sleepless Nights Kids. The sleep one works really great too with moms with small wrists. Now available at your local Walmart stores. Pregnancy humor that may just make you want to pee your pants. Like you don't have to pee all the time, with hilarious pregnancy stories of potato poke, heating your way to heaving, and raisins are us. If you want to learn more about your pregnancy, humor and knowledge is the key to help you survive these 9 months. And just know we're in this together. Today, you will learn the science behind the causes of increased and decreased fetal movement and what your baby is trying to tell you. Plus, 5 ways to get your baby to move if your kick count is down. And what kind of doctor would I be without telling you 5 ways to help you calm your baby down and stop kicking you all night long? You're welcome in advance. All coming up right now on Pregnancy Pukeology Podcast, Episode 72, How to Get Your Baby to Move in Utero.
The science of puke, pukeology.
It's the most incredible feeling to feel your baby move, especially not just for the first time, but even if they're little karate masters thereafter. It kind of is our mom sense of when we get to feel them and that they're there with us all the time. I never felt alone during my pregnancies because I always felt my little ones moving. So most women will feel their babies move around 16 to 25 weeks of gestation, although it might start a little earlier. Normal baby movements would signify a healthy baby, and the mothers may sometimes get worried if the baby kicks aren't happening as frequent or as fast. There are some mechanisms which you can actually use to make your baby move. So it's really about making sure that the baby is doing well. An active baby is a healthy baby, and we know that there is no complications whenever they're moving all around and about. So if your kick count is down, meaning if you haven't felt your baby move, try these things in order to help them kind of get stimulated. Number 1, increase your blood sugar. A rush of sugar to your body is always detected by your baby or your fetus to increase its movement. This can be done by taking a snack or something sugary. Remember, it works even when it comes to kids, but don't get into the habit of having a bunch of sweet snacks because that's not good either. We don't want to overload the baby with that kind of stuff. Number 2, increasing your adrenaline levels. Anxiety in the mother is always detected by the fetus in the womb, and they react by moving. So you can try to watch a horror movie but please try to avoid any severe panic attacks. It's not healthy for you or the baby. You can also do a small amount of caffeine. I would recommend caffeine in tea over coffee because it has about half the amount, and you are allowed 1 cup-ish 1 cup of coffee per day. So I just want to make sure that you know that even though I am a very modern doc, limit your caffeine intake. But when you do give you and your baby caffeine, remember that you guys are sharing the same blood, meaning their bloodstream is totally separate from yours, but whatever you take in, you're actually feeding them through the umbilical cord. Shine a light. That's number 3, or play music. You can shine a light in your lower abdomen and the baby will react by kicking it, especially when the fetus has reached a certain stage, recognizing light and sound. I know that my son loved my hip hop class. I've been a dancer my whole life. And so I used to always, even pregnant, I would go to hip hop class and man, oh man, he would go nuts. And then afterwards, it was awesome. I used to take a late class so that by the time I would take an 8 p.m. class, I'd be home and he would finally go to sleep. If not, he was kicking and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So he loved music. It got him moving like crazy. And then finally, we both were able to sleep. Number 4, lie on the side. So working and moving around makes the baby comfortable, and often they may fall asleep. So if you lie down quietly, making the fetus sense that things are not necessarily normal, or they might get uncomfortable in the position, they'll immediately start kicking and moving around. By the way, it's the same thing if your babies ever sleep in the bed with you, meaning I'm not saying I recommend this, but my kids are older and they still kick me whenever I apply a little bit of pressure, even though they're no longer in my belly. But just remember, it stays the same and is true inside the uterus and out. Number 5, a gentle coaxing, right? So coax your baby by gently pressing on the uterus will make the baby move. This action may actually wake your baby up from sleep and make them start to kick. So feeling the baby move, or baby movement, which is what we've termed it as quick, it can be felt by the mother from 13 to 16 weeks of gestation. So how do you know that this is baby movement? Well, there's a number of type of feelings that you'll be able to feel when the baby does move. This includes simple taps by the baby, low kicks, or even quick multiple kicks, a baby rolling. That one's a little bit more painful whenever they get older, like when they're really trying to change positions. You may also feel gas, vibrations in the stomach, and you might feel it come as like a whole punch. Some mothers report it feeling almost like a tickling feeling. I know that I couldn't tell at the very beginning with my first if I had bad gas or if the baby was actually moving. You may sometimes need to be relaxed and quiet in order to feel the baby move. I personally love to get into the bathtub and with the hot water, just watch him go crazy. If you feel movement at regular intervals, it's probably not the baby kicking. So if it's like, when I mean in regular intervals, it's like, guess what? That's actually hiccups. So again, if you want to know why do your babies get hiccups in the womb, go listen to episode 61. It's extremely fascinating. You'll be like, oh man, that's really cool. But yes, they do get hiccups. So if you do feel that movement, like, and it's in regular intervals of time, it's probably not kicking. They're not that good yet, and highly unlikely, even if it's with music, that they would be kicking to the beat, or else we might have some future dancers on our hands, right? Baby kick counter. Okay, it is always important to take a record of your baby's movement, which helps the doctor in deciding the well-being of your baby and will alert you when you need to be worried and seek health care or medical care, I should say. You can do the kick counter in the morning, but you are required to do a count at the same time every day. And I say required, but again, it's something like to take a mental note. So when you are counting the number of movements your baby makes in a 2-hour interval, normally the baby should have at least 10 movements in 2 hours. So if you're getting a low kick count or significantly low, it might mean your baby is distressed and you will need to go see a doctor. Now that you guys have heard about kick counts and all kinds of fun stuff like that, let's hear some funny pregnancy stories to give us a little giggle in our tummies.
Throwing up on a Tuesday? One puke story.
I was cooking baked potatoes and I knew my tummy didn't like them, but when I was washing them, I hadn't had one in a long time. So I heard the oven beep. I poked at a potato, and the texture made me throw up. The problem is I threw up all over my husband. all over the actual potatoes, and he thought they were cheese. That was so gross. Thank you, UHMB, for your hilarious puke story. The heating pad comforted my aching back, and it felt amazing. I left it on for quite a while, and then because it got too hot, it made me queasy. I quickly moved it and still got sick. I had nothing else around, so I used a tray to catch my spaghetti lunch. It was never able to get the stains out of my disgusting shirt. Thank you, 23 is number 1 for that hilarious puke story. I have to say, ew, just the thought of that, giving up your cookies with spaghetti, not the cutest. Number 3. I was rereading Raisin in the Sun, and the second I read the word raisins last week, I threw up red grapes. What was worse is that the red grapes looked like raisins, so the sight and sound of the word kept making me give up my cookies and dry heave all over. I still to this day will not eat red grapes or raisins. Thanks, Bronze and Blush, for that hilarious puke story. Now, do you have a hilarious pregnancy story that you just can't wait to share? Send it to me at Pukeology, Pukeology @nomonausea.com. That's NOMONAUSEA.com. Or tweet me at Pukeology so we can all have a good laugh.
Tips and tricks to stop the up-chuckle that you need.
How to get your baby to stop kicking you at night. So babies routinely find that they kick much more often at night. And no, they're not nocturnal by that sense, but they usually are moving when you're not moving. And the reason why is because when you are moving, you're like lullabying them to sleep. That's the reason why when you pat the baby and you rock the baby and move the baby goes to sleep. So it's only natural for them, since it's been happening inside of their tummy the whole time, they will do it whenever they come out, okay? So I understand that having babies kick you in the middle of the night is sometimes extremely uncomfortable and even painful. So to reduce fetal movement at night, you may want to create the same type of routine so that you have a nighttime routine and a daytime routine. This includes just lying down with less stress and noise during the day, which will promote the baby kicking more during the day. So number 1, use a pregnancy pillow. It will help you align your body, support your belly and hips, and forces the baby to get comfortable and sleep. So yes, if you have a good alignment, your baby will try to tend to get more comfortable. If it's completely out of alignment, then the baby will start kicking and saying, "Hey mom, move." Number 2, limit your fluid intake in the evening or before bed. This will also help you stop taking unnecessary trips to the bathroom at night, which of course will wake you up and will wake baby up too. Number 3, avoid caffeine in the afternoon. And I mean in the late afternoon, literally after 12 o'clock. So you're not the only one that feels caffeine or caffeinated beverages. You are allowed 1 cup of coffee or caffeinated beverage per day, so try to make it before. So make it in the morning time whenever you are the most active, because again, it will get out of both of your systems quicker. Both of you and the baby will get an extra pep in your step with caffeine, so you don't want the baby to be karate kicking you at night because they've had too much caffeine in their system also. Number 4, avoid spicy foods and large meals at night. Indigestion and heartburn are the most severe when you're lying down, but no mo, thanks to No Mo Nausea Band, a pregnancy-safe natural combination of essential oil-infused pressure bracelet that will instantly stop the upset stomach and help you to push down the food so you can wave goodbye to heartburn and indigestion during this pregnancy. If you want to learn more about pregnancy indigestion and ways to help stop it naturally, go check out Pregnancy Pukeology Podcast, episode 9, Heartburn in Pregnancy. Number 5, exercise regularly for at least 20 to 30 minutes per day. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. I actually recommend low intensity. And if you're looking for really great workouts, because again, pregnancy safe workouts, it's important. Whatever you were doing before for exercise, you can continue during your pregnancy. For example, those people who are, believe it or not, runners. Okay, they were marathon runners before. They can still run. It's not that you can't. It's just, again, you need to make modifications. Same thing goes if you are a person who, for example, myself, I was a dancer. So if you danced before, you can still dance during and throughout your entire pregnancy. If you're curious, or if you are not a person who is doing any type of exercise during this pregnancy, it's healthy for you and for baby to get up, to move around. Swimming is incredible, but if you want some other ideas, go check out my podcast, episode 44, Pregnancy Exercise, and that will list the top 10 best pregnancy workouts and why. Now, the way that you sleep will affect your baby and the pregnancy with each trimester. So from exhausted that you feel in the first trimester, where you're a hibernating bear, I feel like a hibernating mama bear. Oh, that's kind of cute. To uncomfortable third trimester because you're not getting good sleep because you're totally uncomfortable. So I've written an entire podcast just for you called Pregnancy Affecting Sleep, which is episode 42. If you want more ideas or ways to get a good night's sleep every single night, this is the best that medicine has to offer, meaning not necessarily a pill, but a way to be able to train your body into getting good night's sleep. Well, there's an amazing remedy as well. It's called No Mo Sleepless Nights, and it is the combination of lavender essential oil infused into an acupressure wristband. So again, you can actually use pressure points all over the body to increase your body's production of melatonin, because what do we all want to do? Sleep better every night. Now, I do need to address the very last thing, which is feeling decreased baby movement, okay? So decreased fetal movement softens and usually signifies the fetus is in distress and that you need to go visit your doctor. So some of the causes of increased movement, and we talked about before, not to jump off topic, but we said that within a 2-hour period of time, you need at least 10 movements of your baby. Now, if you don't feel anything, if you've tried all the items that I've mentioned here, give yourself a little caffeine, try to, have something sugary in your diet, go do something by shining a light or listening to music, and you still don't feel anything, this causes a little bit of concern for us physicians. So in some of the cases, decreased movement of your baby can lead to a hypoxic environment, which again, meaning if your baby is not moving, and hypoxia means a decrease of oxygen. So this could be as a result in the worst case scenario of a stillbirth. And a stillbirth just means the baby is no longer alive during delivery. So this can happen because the cord is wrapped around the neck. Therefore, always make sure that you seek medical advice in case of any changes in behavior of your baby. If your kick counts are showing a decreased movement, significant decrease, or no movement at all, you may want to go to your doctor. Now, the doctor will perform a non-stress test. This test can provide some useful information on the baby's heart rate and movement during the third trimester. Another alternative is to use 3D ultrasound to see the baby in real time and to track their growth and development and to make sure that they are moving. Sometimes our placentas are in a very weird place, I guess you could say. So it is posterior, and sometimes, or a lot of times, you can't feel it. That's the reason why I know there's a show on TV. It's called I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant. But they all, I'm pretty sure anyway, from a physician standpoint, they pretty much had a posterior uterus, and meaning that because of the fact that it was way far back, they didn't feel everything like we normally do because the baby might not be presenting itself, or there could be a layer of adipose tissue to make you not feel it inside. So that is our top 5 ways to get the baby to move, how to get your baby not to kick you all night long, to give you a better night's sleep, but most importantly, the kick counter. How many kicks should you be feeling from your baby every day to give you and your OBGYN or your pregnancy doctor a relief that the baby is doing very well. I hope that you loved this Pukeology podcast. If you did, please let me know. Give me 5-star hearts for ratings or likes or whatever it is that you do. Don't forget to download this episode, but more importantly, share it with all your prego friends. Thanks again for listening to Pregnancy Pukeology Podcast, episode 72, How to Get Your Baby to Move in the Womb. See you next time.
Pukeology Podcast, edutainment at its finest.